Ever since Ronald Reagan started using MLK quotes to push his agenda, we all knew it was going downhill from there. And as a quick reminder, Reagan was the president that called African people monkeys and opposed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, on top of other things. And today, so that you can all stay vigilant, I'm ranking and analyzing whitewashed MLK quotes. The scores will be based on how annoying it is to hear that quote misused, from 1 being kind of bearable to 10 being a little bit worse than nails on a chalkboard. I figured I'd jump right in with a crowd favorite. I have a dream that my 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. This is of course best used to denounce policies that address racism like affirmative action by saying that we shouldn't acknowledge race because MLK supported colorblindness. But first of all, even in his dream, MLK doesn't mention anything about not seeing the color of someone's skin. He just says not to judge people by it. Like, if I said I don't want people to judge me for the clothing that I wear, does that mean I want people to pretend that I'm walking around naked? On top of that, of course these people rarely ever mention what MLK said would be necessary to reach that goal, which included provisions that do take race into account. 4 years after the I Have a Dream speech, he literally said, "A society that has done something special against the Negro for hundreds of years must now do something special for the Negro." But at the same time, this quote is so overused that I'm able to tune it out a bit, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next we have, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Personally, I saw this a lot in reaction to protests, especially before 2020, when most people at least publicly stated some support for BLM demonstrations. It was pretty much used to say that the protests, especially ones that involve property damage, were too much and that protesters should be less divisive in their actions and words. Personally, one of my biggest pet peeves is racial gaslighting and using respectability politics to discredit activism, especially while ignoring the societal issues that caused it in the first place. For that reason, I give it a 9 out of 10. The next quote I don't see super often, but when I was doing research for a video last year, I came across a tweet from a Republican senator that used it. And the quote is, "We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now." Now this came from Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who ironically opposed legislation that would federally protect black voters and supported legislation that would disenfranchise them in Georgia. Something about how he seemed so smugly inspired by a quote that implicitly references the slave trade was a little off-putting. But once again, I don't hear it as much as the others, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. And before I go, I want to leave you with a bonus quote that kind of shares MLK's opinions on the matter. In his book, Where Do We Go From Here, he says, "Whites, it must frankly be said, are not putting in a similar mass effort to re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance. Loose and easy language about equality fall pleasantly on the ear, but for the Negro, there's a credibility gap he cannot overlook." So tomorrow, I expect a lot of people to use loose and easy language while holding tight to their racial ignorance. But let me know how you would rank them in the comments and follow for more.